Did you see Conor McGregor in the White House?
Oh my God, I did. And you know what? He drives me mad. Like, I love McGregor and it's McGregor forever and all that sort of crack. But I was disappointed with the way he presented himself and the Irish people.
I thought it was cringeworthy.
It was a bit cringeworthy, in fairness.
I used to be a Conor McGregor fan. When he was coming up, when he was, saying, I'm going to beat everybody that's in front of me, I'm going to knock them down like dominoes, I'm going to become the world champion. It was great. Motivational, inspirational person. But then he got mouthy and he started this trash talk and he got into trouble throwing, I don't know, he'd throw a chair at a bus or something. And more recently, his problems in court as well. And I thought, I thought it was really staged. It wasn't as if he was walking past the White House and said, "Hey, come in, come here." It wasn't. It was very like they said they went to look for somebody, an Irish person to bring in. And I thought, right.
Why bring McGregor? Like, he is not a good representation of Irish people.
I think he's not in touch with how he's perceived. I think he's surrounded by people who tell him, "Yeah, you're great, you're fantastic, you're brilliant."
Yeah.
But I think, a lot of the comments online, I deliberately didn't watch it when I saw it come up on my feed. I thought, God, what's he talking about? And I thought he might be talking about leprechauns or something. But then people were saying, "Did you hear Conor McGregor?" I was like, okay, I'll look at it. And I thought, I thought that's really staged. And first of all, I thought of Andrew Tate. And I thought they have gone out and maybe looked for Conor McGregor because he has kind of what's called right-wing views. And he's a mixed martial artist. Andrew Tate was the same. Andrew Tate was in difficulty with sex claims against him, trafficking, human trafficking, all that kind of thing. And Trump has this, like, he was sued for that. That must be a prerequisite for going into politics these days. On your CV, you need to have some sexual assault against you and be an ex-mixed martial artist. I thought, okay, I used to do the martial arts, I used to do the karate and stuff. I just need to get a sexual assault now and I can run for president.
Oh my God, that's shocking. But he comes in with this toxic masculinity, and this is the big problem today, and this is what everybody is talking about nowadays as well, and I think it can be misconstrued as well. I think it's good to be masculine, but he is so aggressive. Like, I saw him being interviewed after that interview in the White House. People were asking him questions. Are you the best person to talk on behalf of
well, apparently he thinks he's a platform.
He's not really the best person to talk on behalf of the Irish people.
No, but
and then he comes up to the camera and he's this way and he's it's
like, you couldn't imagine Michael D. Higgins that, like, people saying this is his pitch to become president. He wouldn't fit an Irish Nook drawn. Could you imagine?
I think you've got to be professional and you have to be calm and you have to be intelligent.
I think a lot of people have this very simplistic view of politics and the problems that we have in this country. Like, people coming into the country. There's a lot of people coming into the country. I heard a stat yesterday. For years we were in around 4 million population, and even like going right back to famine times, it's been around 3.5, 4 million. And then suddenly within the last couple of years, it's gone up. It's 5 million plus. And they said something about 2040 is definitely going to be over 6 million. And that's a massive change for a small little country like Ireland, who was so used to exporting its people. I think there was, last stat I heard, there was something like 63 million Irish passports out there in the world.
Wow.
Like, when you go to any country, Siobhan, you'll find an Irish pub.
You will, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. We have polluted the world. We are like a plague to the world. And we have the audacity to give out about people coming into our country.
That vexes me so much. Like, we are a first world country here, lads. I dread this far right thing where, people are so self-righteous about saying things about, immigrants and people coming in here. It's important to mix our culture a little bit.
It is.
The diversity of that is really good.
Did you know what, years ago?
For everything.
Going back to my grandparents' time, people didn't travel more than 5 miles outside of their locality.
Jesus.
And you married somebody in your locality who was probably your cousin.
Oh, God.
Or maybe even closer.
Supposed to be a far distant cousin.
Yeah, and you had to get permission off the Pope if it was your first cousin. And all of this kind of stuff. So the gene pool was very polarised.
Narrow.
But the comments on social media were, I don't like McGregor, but I do agree with what he was saying. And you see, there is some validity when you kind of dig down, because there's a guy on YouTube, Darren Noon.
Oh, yeah.
Giving out about this. And then there was a lady, a coloured lady, I don't know, I can't remember her name, but she gave a very good response to it. And her point was, it's not the immigrants that are the problem, it's the government, it's the policy. There is no planning.
Yes, the planning is the problem. And I've great respect for Kieran Mullooly in this regard. He's an MEP with the European Parliament. He really addresses this problem of planning for people. Like here where we are in the Midlands and Athlone, like we're going to put up 1,000 makeshift refugee kind of a camp sort of a thing.
Yeah.
But they didn't have proper storage facilities. There was no way of looking after these people's mental health when they come in here. They had no provisions available for the people coming in. So, I mean, basic sanitary conditions is the number one thing for any person, human being. We're looking at human lives here. They're not cattle
in the 21st century.
In the 21st century, in a first world country.
With 65 billion in our,
there's absolutely
in our back pockets and our savings,
problem.
like the rainy day fund.
There's no problem with us dealing with an influx of people. And they are only entitled to basic needs. What are the basic needs? Maslow's basic needs. Food, warmth, shelter, love, care and attention. That's for any child.
Yeah.
Every human being is entitled to food, warmth and shelter.
Yeah.
I don't care where they come from. They're human beings. You know, and that's my level of compassion, I suppose.
But as and against that, I come from a small town called Edwardstown.
Yeah.
I go playing pitch and putt at the weekend. I go through a little village called Cool. And in Cool there's a small little shop. It's like the little corner shop. And they'll sell newspapers, ice cream. I don't know, can you get a cup of coffee in it now? And that's it. You wouldn't do your weekly shopping in it.
Yeah.
There is a post office up the road. There is a church. And they went and they put loads of migrants in there. I think there was an old convent building or some kind of a building. And the residents were up in arms about it. Because I've seen it in my place too, that they put in so many people all in one go that it shifts the whole balance of the town. You got, a couple of hundred people, maybe 1,000 people, indigenous population of the town, and then suddenly you got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people coming in, whether they're migrants, whether they're coloured migrants or whether they're Ukrainians or whatever. It does shift the whole dynamic of the town, and I feel sorry for these people because, like, especially in Cool, there is nothing there for them to do. You see people walking up the street with high-vis jackets, wheeling the kids and whatever. There is nothing there for them to do, and they are afraid because they're aware of all of this anti-immigrant vibe. And they're afraid that they might be set upon or attacked. There was a lady who used to come into my elderly mother to help her get up in the mornings. Aziza, if you're listening. Wonderful lady, originally from Nigeria. Came here, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago. Learned the language. She had some English, I suppose, before she left Nigeria, but speaks good English. She's here with her husband, her kids, and she goes and she does this wonderful work. She's a lovely person. And her daughter went off. I think her daughter was training to be I don't know, some professional, like a psychologist or something, whatever. But I have absolutely no problem with people like that coming into the country, wanting to set up home here with the family, wanting to work, wanting to contribute to society and mix, and it's great. But people are suspicious, especially in Athlone, of, hold on a minute, you're putting like several hundred men in this compound? That, that's a bit dodgy, isn't it?
It's nonsense. Do you know what I mean? I think what we're dealing with here is people's opinions and people's vastly uneducated opinions about what is happening. And I think, that Noon guy that you mentioned there as well, lovely, grand opinion. When you're listening to his interview in the beginning, like, it sounds, oh yeah, that's kind of well informed, and then it goes down a really far right wing.
You're talking about
slips down that road,
trouble and violence and places not safe,
and blaming immigrants for the trouble, and that is just not.
He doesn't kind of. I don't think he out and out blames them, but it kind of.
But he alludes to it.
It's kind of
he insinuates that.
Yeah, and I'd say we've got our own homegrown criminals. There was lots of crime in Ireland before anybody ever came into the place.
Absolutely. I mean, the majority of people in prisons today are Irish anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I don't see, where everybody is up in arms. Do you know what I think it is, Paul? I think it's just pure greed and jealousy. And when I'm from in Clara, right? Yeah. There's St. Anthony's there was converted and it was given to, I think, Ukrainian people got the houses in there, which was a wonderful thing. It's been lying idle there for decades. It's ridiculous, going to waste. It was a boarding school for boys. So they're there now, and, they're lovely inhabitants of the town. They come down walking their children, they go to the shops. They're spending their money in our shops, in our pubs and whatever else, and buying the clothes and whatever else from the town. So they're increasing the revenue in the town. I don't see the problem with that.
Yeah.
And also, before they arrived, when the word got out that immigrants were coming and they were going to be in there, all the people that were on the dole were the Irish people that were out protesting and saying they didn't want it. I mean, for feck's sake.
Right.
Do you know?
But I think there is a point to be made that on the video that was a response to Garen Noon, the lady was saying that immigrants get no more than they're entitled to. And that's true. And who decides what they're entitled to? Well, that's the Department of Social Welfare and the other departments. That's the government.
But it's not. It's world basic human rights.
Right. But the thing is, and again,
government.
I saw another woman make this point too, that there was a housing crisis and Irish people, this lady was talking about her son coming home from Australia, could not find anywhere to live. And then suddenly the government put loads of people who weren't from the area in and they make accommodation for them.
Yeah.
And this is not fair. And I came across this way back in probably the start of when people started coming into the countries. Originally, you see, it was Polish people and Latvian people that came in, and they contributed wonderfully to the country. They married and everything, and they have a reputation for being terrific workers. But my friend, his father had a stroke, and he was partially incapacitated, and they were on to social welfare and everything to try to get as much aids and support from as possible. And he said basically they were told they could get a handle that you could put on the wall that would help them get up off the loo. And my friend lost the rag with him. He said, hold on a minute. He said, if my father has lived in this country his whole life, he's paid taxes, he's worked and all of this, and this is all he's entitled. He said, if he was an immigrant into the country, you'd make a house around him.
Now, there's the challenge I have for you, Paul, on this point. The immigrants are coming here, they have nothing. They don't have family here. The lady that you were talking about, her son is coming home to her home. He already has a home. So what the authorities are doing here is they're assessing the need. Is he going to be homeless if we don't put him up? And we have also as well the welfare of the child comes first in this country. So people that are Irish and have children as well, they're going to be put up first. And then the elderly people are going to be looked after. To finish my point, the immigrants have no one here. They are relying solely on our government to help them.
Yeah.
There's a good reason why they need to leave their country, whether it's war or
just get a better life. I mean, that's why we Irish emigrate.
Work or whatever. Yeah. I mean, we left Ireland because there was no work here for us. We were starving. Do you know what I mean? That's our ancestry.
Oppression by the Brits.
That's our ancestry here. Do you know?
Sorry to any British people listening.
Yeah, but I mean, that's worse than that is going on in some other countries, and that's why they need to get out. They need to leave.
The thing too that people have a difficulty with is lack of consultation. That they hear rumours that there's going to be a load of people suddenly coming into their town or village, and the government are not liaising with them at such a level that they're not kind of asking permission or what are going to be the impacts of this. The government kind of go, hold on, there's a community building there, not down the country. It's not being used. Let's dump a load of people in there, and it's cheaper to live down the country in places in the Midlands than it is in Dublin or whatever. But this idea that we're all in this together and we all have to support it's not actually true, because if you came home this evening and suddenly all your neighbours were people you didn't know, they just all moved in, and you go, what the hell? It threatens your sense of security.
I don't know my neighbours anyway, Paul. I disagree.
Don't want to talk to you. That's a different thing.
And the new Ukrainians are my neighbours. They only live up the road from me.
And my brother's got Ukrainians living
there.
next door to him too, and he gets on great with them. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Help him, and he helps them. But I've kind of lost my train of thought now.
You were telling me
yes. We're not all in this together because a fellow has told me, a fellow who's well in the know, says that in a lot of places, if Simon Harris or Micheál Martin came home and suddenly their neighbourhood was different with all of these people, they'd have a problem with it. If your neighbours on both sides were suddenly kind of, we're like, where's the other neighbours gone? So I'll just ask Siri, go away Siri. So in parts of Dublin, well-to-do parts of Dublin,
Yeah.
there are no refugees or immigrants in there. And it becomes, well, we can't afford the housing there.
Yeah.
But hold on, you should. But we got 65 billion, I think, at last count. It's probably gone up since. That we have this money for a rainy day fund. They should buy premises in Dublin or rent them out and put immigrants in there and say, yes, we're all in it. What about all the rooms there is in Oris and Uachtaráin? There's only Michael D in there. He's a very small man. And Sabrina, his wife, and then they had dogs. I think one of the dogs died or two of the dogs died. You've all this building. You go, why can't you, there's rooms there, why can't you convert them and put refugees in there? They say, oh, well, you can't. There's archives there at the country. But hold on, these people are fine. These people are trustworthy. These people are okay. They've been vetted. There's no reason why you can't put them in there. I don't know if the rooms in the Dáil that aren't being used either.
Well,
why can't we put them in there?
That's a place of business, Paul, so it's not suitable,
well, why can't we
really.
give these people jobs in the Dáil?
Well, I'm sure that in time, people will reveal themselves to be able to do that. But one of the key things you said there earlier on was a reputable guy said such a thing, know, or a guy
I'm not
very
I could
knowledgeable
send you his name, but I'm not going to because
and whatever else.
Yeah.
So and this is the thing, like my opinion varies very differently to this. I think that there's plenty of room for people. Putting them into smaller communities is a good thing. It broadens and expands that community. It gives rise to new, like you were talking about Cool there earlier on, that's a very small little place, and you're saying it's discombobulating everybody in the community. But that shopkeeper is going to be a lot happier because guess what? Now they have 200 or 300 people that are going to shop there. It gives rise to expansion of business, and children are going to go to the schools. There's going to be need for maybe a local...
Are schools able to support
a local GP?
Kids?
Yes, well, there's no problem expanding it.
GPs, I've heard a
How good
GP
is
on
that?
radio previously talking about the fact that they cannot take on any new patients. They're overrun with too many patients because of the massive increase in communities. And a lot of GPs are saying to the government, no, I'm not taking on anybody else.
Can't take it on,
So, look, I'm not racist. I welcome people into the country, but I do have a problem with the government just kind of going, we'll just, easy solution, we'll just dump them all down the country. They don't matter.
Oh God, no! I think that's a horrible statement.
But I think it's true. I think it's true.
It's not true.
I think there are civil servants and offices and places kind of go, Longford, there's only a couple of thousand people there. We'll just dump a load of people in there. And decisions like that have been made in the past. Again, I know people who know people who know people. I'm not saying it's rumour. Look, we could
not
we could
just
debate
your opinion, Paul.
Not just my opinion. Let us know. What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah. Do you agree with me or Paul?
Tell us your experience, though, of
don't think people are
people
being
coming into
dumped.
your community, the good and the bad and the ugly.
Yes, I mean, I would ask you to look back at the time when, the Syrians were being shipped over here and everyone was up in arms thinking they were going to rape, kill and murder everyone in our communities. And
we
that
got
never
those here
happened.
already.
And that did not happen. So that's
Yeah,
my
you remember
point.
Chernobyl? When Chernobyl happened way back and they had to bring kids over here.
Yeah, people were going mental.
yeah.
Oh, they're going to give us radiation.
No. Well, a lot of them were well received and a lot of them still come back to visit years and years
They do
later.
now, yeah. But at the time, there was scare tactics.
Yeah.
You're bringing the radiation over here.
And listen, another thing I forgot. Many of you who watch our channel aren't subscribed. When you subscribe to us, it gives us a dig out. We'll appreciate it. We're the Happy Headers. Talk to you soon.